crazy little notes. My name is Jill Graves. I'm an MFA candidate, graphic design candidate from Amory, Mississippi. I'm more or less the beginning of my thesis as well, and though I've had many experiences in research and development that have been leading kind of to this moment now, it was interesting. I was looking back at the mapping I was doing that helped develop my focus, and I was seeing a lot of connections that of seemingly unrelated events, so that was kind of cool. Though I come from a graphic design background, I feel that most of my most effective work comes from collaborating and learning from other disciplines. Personally, I've found that working with disciplines like industrial design and design management, and most recently interaction design, have not only improved my design skills, but have also improved the way I view problems and solutions, my research methodologies, my approach, and even the way I see the user, from lack of a more endearing term. I believe in design, and that's design with a capital D. I believe in design's ability to make positive social change. I also feel that we as designers have been uniquely placed as creators of society. I think that Victor Papanek said it best when he stated, in this age of mass production, when everything must be planned and designed, design has become the most powerful tool with which man shapes his tools and his environments, and by extension, society himself. And with this power comes great responsibility, and it demands an awareness of what we are creating, the impact it will have, and an understanding of the people that make up our world. And I feel like it is in this exploration and understanding of the real problems and our needs of our society, hearing the voiceless, that the real brainstorming should begin. In my own work, I try to think beyond the surface graphics and consider the larger system that's affected by my designs, and it's this type of holistic thinking that has led me to the way I'd like to approach the problems addressed in my thesis. My thesis proposes to develop a system that can be used to improve test scores and be an impetus for positive social change in low-performing schools in the Mississippi Delta. As you can see here, test scores from Mississippi Delta are just incredibly poor, and they're little to no improvement. The system will utilize and mimic the strengths of the new social environment that has emerged with new technologies. It will specifically capitalize on the way we are now socially connecting while harnessing the internet's accessibility to vast amounts of information and cultural exchange. Lately, we've been hearing a lot of critique about the maturation of new technologies and how it's removing a certain level of the way we are connecting with one another. I, however, see great potential in this new social environment, and I specifically in its ability to address some of the fundamental problems that are affecting the education of youth in the Mississippi Delta. Students' test scores in the Mississippi Delta are the lowest in the nation. As bad as these test scores show for Mississippi, the Delta is the worst of Mississippi. And the schools are challenged by poverty, indifferent parents and qualified administrations, and the lowest teacher retention rates in the country. I have quite a few friends that have worked in the school system, and the stories they come home telling are just appalling. There's fifth graders who can't write their name, they can't read, it's just unbelievable. And they're still being passed to the next grade because they have to meet these certain standards. It makes you wonder, you know, who's in charge and who's making decisions. This thesis will initially research the availabilities of new technologies like cell phones and internet in rural Mississippi. It will follow the new developments such as the $6 million in bailout money that's dedicated to the expansion of broadband internet in rural areas, and observe how this progression can support the system. Following the research will be an exploration that will examine the maturation of information technologies. This information will be contextualized by looking at the subsequent contemporary technology-driven milieu that has emerged through accessibility and social networking. It will specifically study how we humans are now connecting with one another, and how this our new way of connecting can positively be used to overcome and improve current societal situations. For example, because the internet creates a space that lends itself to be more autonomous, an individual has an opportunity, even if it's only perceived, and this is the key to my thesis, to create new beginnings, in essence, a new world of living. This can be an incredibly valuable tool when dealing with students who live in a world full of negativity created by a cycle that seems impenetrable. This investigation will look for ways of laying a foundation for the system that will bring about hope and stability. This development came as I started researching low-performing schools and the associated school system. A common theme that educators were constantly revisiting was that of ratings and rankings of schools based solely on their test scores. Mississippi educators, specifically in the Delta, felt constantly defeated by the rankings, and a point was brought up that I felt was incredibly valuable. Oftentimes, the teachers in the schools are being blamed for the poor performance shown through testing, when in actuality, many of the real reasons the schools are having trouble is that they are serving hard-to-teach kids, and I didn't come up with that. Hard to teach, meaning that the children in the areas of low-performing schools are living in environments and have problems that go well beyond the problems of students in top-ranked schools. So that got me thinking about the void that exists and the fact that maybe we are addressing the wrong problems, or rather addressing the problems out of order. The system I'm creating will first address these fundamental problems and lay that foundation to create a stable environment where the student can actually move forward. The visual components of my thesis will outline all of my research and the specifics of how the system should be created. I will use graphical elements, information design pieces to help visually communicate the data that I'm collecting. I will then use the information design pieces to support and bring clarity to the system that is to be created. I will also be developing a book that outlines why I'm addressing these issues, what research supports this plan, who the stakeholders are, what the potential benefits of this system are in present and future terms, and how the system can be created and why it will work. This thesis is as much an examination of our role as designers as it is in addressing a specific problem. My hopes is that this thesis will bring further awareness to the responsibilities that we have as designers today. At a meeting at the United Nations in March 1953, Eleanor Roosevelt asked, "Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places closest to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person, the neighborhood he lives in, the school or college he attends, the factory, farm, or office where he works. Such are the places where every man, woman, and child seek equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity without discrimination.